Trivia told me not to be afraid to be controversial, so this is a picture of me praying that I'll get out of here tomorrow. Excuse me. I recently heard Doris Kearns Goodwin, a biographer of now 4 presidents and a winner of the Pulitzer Prize, speak at Chatham College in Pittsburgh. She was asked if she was concerned about the future of the country in light of current tensions and strong disagreements. She said that based on our history, she would never bet against the United States. But she went on to say something that I think is very important. She said that we absolutely have to address the growing disparity of opportunity and income in this country. And she went on to say that an essential step to address that disparity is to equalize the quality of public education across the country. And she went on to say beyond that, that can't happen unless we all commit to the teaching profession and pay teachers accordingly in accordance with the value that they have to bring to that process. There's some recent evidence apparently that the growth in disparity has stopped, at least while the economy is booming, but I think it's grown so dramatically in recent decades that I think the disparity of opportunity and income and the consequence of that disparity are very well identified, including the impact of socioeconomic status on educational outcomes. Probably all of you saw the data that came out a couple of weeks ago that showed how each county, high school graduates who've gone to college and have needed to take remedial courses to learn what they were supposed to learn before they graduated from high school. Here in Monongalia County, it was 4% of the students. In McDowell County, it was 60%. That's a dramatic differential in the impact of socioeconomic status on educational outcomes. And I think you could probably draw other conclusions from that data, but I think it's undeniable that both the quality of education and the readiness for children to be educated and to succeed in school and life are impacted by socioeconomic status. Overcoming disparities in education is an enormous challenge. It's just that simple. The need has long been recognized, although the current awareness of the astounding growth of disparity has brought new attention to the problem. The Benham Foundation has worked for years with many well-intentioned and well-qualified leaders in the state, some of whom are in this room, and progress, we all must admit, has been slow, difficult, expensive, and inconsistent. I think Doris Kearns Goodwin is exactly right to say that the teaching profession is critical to the necessary progress. But I think there were broader points than the point she made about paying teachers appropriately for the critical role they play. I think education reform, for one thing, too often has been top-down. When the Gates Foundation, for one example, announces a multi-million-dollar effort to reform education, the public is reinforced in its perception that education is failing in many parts of the country and the teachers are not up to the task. The Gates Foundation for sure means well, but ironically, top-down efforts often hurt progress by reinforcing negative perceptions of teachers, teaching, and public education. Effective education reform requires educators to be in the lead. The teaching profession must be central to education reform, and the teaching profession has to earn the respect and honor of the public, which in turn has to be open to accepting the fact that teachers are an essential part of the solution. But I think the teaching profession has to do more than just demand the pay to which they are entitled, and also more than just step up to lead on education reform, which is a critical step. The profession and teachers' unions, I think, have to be willing to be accountable for student outcomes. Teachers who cannot get acceptable student outcomes after appropriate training over appropriate time periods and based on fair evaluation have got to find something else to do. I recall a conference call from a number of years ago. I know there's at least one person in the room who was on that call, who may well remember it as I do, because it was pretty stunning. A person who was then the head of one of the 2 teachers' unions in West Virginia, we were talking about improving student outcomes, and this person said, I would do anything to improve student outcomes, provided it did not impact teacher seniority. He may have done something different, but the conclusion we all drew from that was that the top priority was protecting teachers. The secondary priority was student outcomes. I think that has to change. I think that the bargain was the wrong one. Teachers need to accept their leadership role in overcoming the impacts of unequal education and to be paid what they deserve, in exchange for which the public needs to honor the profession and the profession needs to accept accountability. And it is not just teachers who need to be accountable. Everyone involved, certainly boards and principals and students, need to be accountable as well. And I realize there can be endless disagreement as to what the standard should be. Accountable to what? But there is plenty of evidence supporting choices that work, multiple choices that work. It would be very helpful if standards in West Virginia were not changed as often as they have been, to give people time to adjust and implement, and to dispel the notion that the standards will change, so why bother paying attention? Massachusetts, which has the best performing public schools in the country, apparently has had consistent policies and expectations for some time. It's a model I think West Virginia should consider. Just a thought, why can't the leadership of the state board, the legislature, the teachers' unions, the Department of Education, the Education Alliance, perhaps others, come together and agree that no one will get their way on every issue, that the West Virginia children deserve research-proven policies and standards of accountability. Then, why can't this group decide what those will be? Again, all will have to compromise on specifics and agree to recommend to the state board that these standards and policies be adopted, and to the board and the legislature that none of these policies or standards will be revised for at least a decade, to give it time for those to be implemented and to have impact. I don't think I'm at all naive as to how difficult this would be to actually happen, but given how essential educational outcomes are to the future of West Virginia and to its children and to its economy, I think maybe it's time to put objectives ahead of objections. Thanks very much.